Good afternoon, Cross Timbers, and welcome to the Texan News Scoop, Texan TV Weekly Review News Show. Here we'll look at this week's top stories on campus, the region, and beyond. My name is Sydney Burns, and it's April 4th, 2016. Here are this week's top stories. In campus news, Tarleton Service Week kicked off on Saturday with a record-breaking start. Students of all different groups and organizations teamed up and went out to serve the community. Over 1,600 students participated in 147 job sites, making it the largest roundup Tarleton has seen since it started 18 years ago. Students did various jobs such as raking leaves, pulling weeds, painting, washing windows, and much more. Service Week continues tomorrow for the Day of Giving, followed by Service Day on Thursday. Greek Week came to an end yesterday after a week long of activities and games, including a Jeopardy game, lip sync battle, can castle building, and flag football. Yesterday at the awards ceremony, the team with the most points was Phi Kappa Sigma, Zeta Phi Beta, and Phi Beta Sigma. The conclusion of Greek Week also marked the beginning of Derby Days, another week-long Greek event. This event is hosted by Sigma Chi, and all proceeds for the event will go back to their philanthropy. Yesterday, Greeks participated in a banner design contest. Other events are scheduled throughout the week, including a Sign a Sig and Surviving the Game today, a dunk booth on Tuesday, a lip sync battle on Wednesday, dodgeball tournament on Thursday, a Derby Darling pageant on Friday, and awards on Saturday. In local news, after several months of being closed due to structural problems, the Little Bridge on College Street is now repaired and opened again. Nick Williams, Director of Public Works, supervises all things street for the city of Stephenville, explained that in reviewing the street department operations, it was clear that there was not a recent, if any previous, of bridges within the Stephenville city limits. Therefore, an inventory and inspection of the city's bridge structures were commissioned. Once that happened, the bridge inspection was prioritized as critical, which meant that action needed to be taken within 30 days. Williams said that because of high initial construction estimates, the project was reevaluated and redirected and in-place rehabilitation lieu of removal and replacement. After doing some research, a proposal was approved by the City Council to repair the bridge structure 6 weeks later. In state news, a family disturbance between the wife of an East Texas constable resulted in a shooting on Saturday. Police say 66-year-old Marilyn Taylor Jackson was jailed on a $500,000 bond and charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, family violence, after she shot her husband, Smith County Precinct 1 Constable Henry Jackson, on the chest and her 5-year-old granddaughter in the ankle. Her husband, Henry Jackson, and the granddaughter were both taken to the hospital. As of yesterday, Henry remained in fair condition. In national news, an Illinois judge declined to free a man convicted of murder, even though the prosecution and defense agree that Jack Daniel McCullough is innocent. The 76-year-old was convicted in 1957 for the slaying of a 7-year-old girl, Maria Ridolph. Some newly appointed attorneys for McCullough filed a request that concluded old files and some new evidence revealing that McCullough couldn't have possibly killed Maria Ridolph. McCullough was cleared in the 1950s by investigators, but then reconvicted in 2012. Reports say that a childhood friend of the girl told a group of 6 photographers that McCullough was the man who killed Ridolph. McCullough's picture stood out because everyone but him was in a suit coat. In a trial last week, McCullough pled a prompt release, but the judge told him he needed to be patient and go through all the legal steps first. The judge also stated that the situation is so unusual that he needs more guidance on what to do. This case is known to be one of the nation's coldest cases. The worst U.S. suicide rates are in 7 of the western states. A high number of those rates come from people who own guns. A new outreach known as the Gunshot Program is asking firearms sellers to help reduce those deaths. They are also looking at ways to educate gun owners on the signs of suicide and provide a way for gun owners to protect their loved ones. For more on this, we turn to the Associated Press.
Andy and Tammy Mills have owned guns for years and keep almost all of them locked up.
We did have one pistol it was my pistol that I kept accessible for protection.
The Mills had just moved to Craig, Colorado, and had gone house hunting. Their 15-year-old son, Austin, told them he didn't want to go along. When they returned, something wasn't right.
Our dog was running around the house by himself, and we hollered for Austin. So Austin, no answer.
They went up to his room.
That's when I noticed the pool of blood with the gun in the middle. So I knew we had lost our son.
The Mills had done most everything a responsible gun owner could do.
He understood guns, he knew about guns, and he knew gun safety.
Austin had the hunter safety course. Second of all, Austin didn't show signs that we recognized of being in trouble. And third of all, where we had put it, we felt that it was pretty safe.
This is him.
Since Austin's death in 2010, the Mills have learned more about the signs that lead to suicide. In 2014, there were nearly 34,000 firearm deaths nationwide. About 21,000 of those deaths were by suicide. In Colorado that same year, there were 90 homicides by gun. An additional 527 people used a gun to kill themselves.
If you attempt suicide via firearm, you have an 85% chance of death. The next closest is suffocation, which is about 65 to 68% death. Overdose, so medication, 2%.
Those statistics have prompted Colorado officials to launch the Gun Shop Project, an effort to educate gun owners about the signs of suicide and provide a way to protect gun owners or their loved ones. Colorado and other western states have a suicide rate higher than the national average. Suicide prevention officials are working with gun shops, gun ranges, and firearm owners, putting gun politics aside and focusing on safety.
I could tell you quite frankly, I would support anything that works.
For shooting range operator Doug Hamilton, the issue is also personal. 3 people have killed themselves with guns rented at the gun range in suburban Denver since 2003. They include 29-year-old Kristen Hermler from Australia, who came to the range with her twin sister.
They came in as 2 young women who were out for a fun time at the range.
Kristen Hermler, in black, rented a .22 caliber pistol and killed herself in November 2010. Law enforcement officials said it was a suicide pact with her sister Candace, who survived.
I gave one of them the lesson. I detected nothing from her except she was determined to learn how to shoot.
Based on his experience, Hamilton says he's doubtful whether anybody could ever tell whether somebody is suicidal.
How do you decide whether you or you have deteriorated in your mental faculty to the point that you should not have a gun? How do you determine that? And that's the slippery slope. We haven't figured that out. I'm not sure it's possible to figure that out.
Andy and Tammy Mills still own guns. They're hopeful the Gun Shop Project will be successful in educating people to recognize the signs of suicide.
He knew it was an easy out if he wanted to be out. It's just unfortunate for us. We just didn't see a sign.
The Gun Shop Project has been rolled out in 5 Colorado counties with higher than average suicide rates. A few other states are also experimenting with similar programs. Peter Banda, Associated Press, Craig, Colorado.
In international news, the Associated Press reports that flash floods triggered by torrential rains yesterday have thousands of residents along the flooded rivers and waterways displaced due to rising waters in northwest Pakistan. Reports say that so far at least 45 people were killed and another 34 have been sent to the hospital. A Pakistani national disaster management official said the rain started overnight on Saturday and caused flash flooding in several districts of Pakistan. Flash floods are commonly triggered during South Asia's summer monsoon season. Pre-monsoon rains like the current downpour frequently cause damage in Pakistan, particularly in rural villages with minimal infrastructure. Pakistani officials say residents of villages close to rivers were given warnings to evacuate and leave for safer places. This has been a production of the Texan News Scoop, product of the Texan News Service from the Tarleton State University campus in Stephenville, Texas. Tune into Northland Cable Channel 9 on weekdays or Channel 2.1 in all residence halls for Texan TV news as well as our other programming. You can also follow Texan News Service on Facebook and Twitter and check out our website at www.texannews.net. Tune in next week for the week's news and review. Today's broadcast was produced by Alejandra Arguin and Rebecca Hernandez. Have a great week, Texans.